access to quality education, starting at the earliest years and all the way through what should be affordable and accessible opportunities in vocational and higher education. I discovered the church that my ancestors helped found, and I'm immediately connected to why we prioritize rebuilding and strengthening human services in our state. Understanding that we must be compassionate towards those in need and demonstrate benevolence to the most vulnerable in our state. And I discovered the Stevensville Market, a small store that had all of the essentials and seemingly the only business in town. And I immediately connected to why entrepreneurship and economic opportunity and inclusion must be guiding values for strengthening our state's often forgotten communities, and thereby strengthening all of Illinois. My trip to Stevensville, Mississippi was powerful, and it centered me for the work that lies ahead. See, I had to reach back to my past to better understand my future. To be reminded that community building is not done principally through policy making or legislation or proclamations. Community building is done when we refuse to let our narrow self-interest be the sole guiding force, and instead put them on hold long enough to listen to someone who has an opposing idea, to break bread with someone whose circumstances seem vastly different than our own, and to commit to working side by side, even when it's hard, to make life better, not just for our own, but for those around us, and mostly for generations that follow us. On December 3rd, 1818, Illinois became the 21st state. 200 years later, with the DNA of my formerly enslaved great-great-grandfather, William Stevens, as part of my genetic makeup, I am proud to stand before you as our state's first Black lieutenant governor. Of my inauguration is not lost on me. It is also not lost on me that in 2019, having just celebrated our state's bicentennial and entering our 3rd century, that we are still a nation and a state of first. That there are still doors of opportunity that have been closed for far too many, for far too long, and that there are still too many spaces in our democracy where what was meant to be a representative government simply fails to be a representation of us all. We have to change that. And while progress is being made, albeit too slowly, it is abundantly clear that we will never realize our full potential if we fail to embrace our interconnectedness and broaden our sense of community. I cannot be my best self if I am not working for you to be your best self. We simply cannot be our best selves as Illinoisans if we don't proactively and intentionally seek ways to listen to one another, to problem solve together and highlight our commonalities more than we seek out our differences. As Illinoisans, though we number nearly 13 million, in many ways, we are, in fact, one community. And while this statewide community includes urban and suburban and rural, while it encompasses tech firms and manufacturing, small businesses, nonprofits, and family farms, while it's made up of different backgrounds and ages, faiths, and political affiliations, races, nationalities, and ethnicities, gender identities, and physical abilities. This is our community. We belong here. We must look out for each other, and we must work to build our community together. Illinois, in the spirit of my ancestors, William and Margaret Stevens, Henry and Janie Wiggins, Wilbur and Velma Slaughter, and my parents and those who have parented me, Henry and VK, Martin and Gwendolyn, Lindbergh and Sammy. I am honored to serve as your Lieutenant Governor, and I am more committed than ever before to working on your behalf, fighting for what's right, putting the people of Illinois first, ensuring an inclusive and representative government, and working alongside of all of you to make our community, this Illinois community, the very best that it can be. Thank you. May God bless each and every one of you. May God bless the state of Illinois, and may God bless the United States of America.